Hi everyone. As Renee mentioned, my name is Benji Kovacevic, and I work as Senior Product Manager in our Customer Experience Engineering team, covering Microsoft Sentinel SIEM and Microsoft Defender XDR. Today with me will be Javier Soriano, our Principal Product Manager that is covering Microsoft Sentinel platform, and he will be speaking later in the presentation. So let's go and first go through the history of Microsoft Sentinel and the journey that we have done up to today. Microsoft Sentinel as a SIEM, we launched in 2019 as the cloud native SIEM, and we expanded that through the years, first with SOAR, ABA, TIP platforms, adding multiple connectors so that we can ingest third-party data. And today, we are adding, of course, the generative AI, moving everything inside of the one unified platform, Microsoft Defender portal, and having more than 25,000 global customers. Of course, the journey is not over. The journey is expanding. And later today, we will be speaking also about Microsoft Sentinel Data Lake, Graph, etc., which is the next part of our journey that will be presented by Javier. So when we are speaking about Microsoft Defender and Microsoft Defender portal, what we have actually done and what we are in the process of doing is taking all our security toolings that were actually being positioned in the different portals, like Microsoft Sentinel as a SIEM, Microsoft Defender as the XDR, Microsoft Defender for cloud, etc., and putting it inside of the one portal, so that you don't have the switches between the portals when you are doing the investigation. When you are doing any kind of searches, you don't need anymore to navigate between, click through, etc. But everything is inside of the one portal. And we are expanding and enriching that portal with additional elements, like the exposure management, Microsoft Security Exposure Management, artificial intelligence with integrating the security Copilot inside of Defender portal, and of course the threat intelligence. We are joining the threat intelligence between different elements of Microsoft Defender XDR and Microsoft Sentinel inside of the one space. First, I want to go through the first few important announcements that are really important. First of all, Microsoft Sentinel inside of the Azure portal will be retired on the 1st of July 2026. After that date, Microsoft Sentinel will be accessible only to Microsoft Defender portal. What it means is that after the 1st of July 2026, when you go to Azure portal and you go to the Microsoft Sentinel, you will not be able to see any data inside of there, but you will see only a link that will navigate you to the Defender portal, where all our information will be stored from that date. You can already onboard Microsoft Sentinel to the Microsoft Defender portal, and I will be covering that really soon in the short demo. And you can start utilizing the Defender portal for the Microsoft Sentinel purposes even today. Really important notification is that all new customers after 1st of July 2025 will be automatically onboarded and redirected to Microsoft Defender portal. What this means is that any new customer that didn't have Microsoft Sentinel and is enabling Microsoft Sentinel today will be automatically redirected to the Defender portal and will not be able to utilize Microsoft Sentinel inside of the Azure portal. There are some links on here that can explain a little bit more. For example, how to plan the move. We have YouTube video series on how to onboard Microsoft Sentinel. What are the changes? I recommend that you are watching, and the team probably can put the link inside of it. So aka.ms/Microsoft Sentinel in Defender. As well, the transition guide that can help you, and it is available in our docs, so that you can access all the information and plan your migration path to the Defender portal today. Also, a really important notification is the convergence of Microsoft Defender Threat Intelligence, MDTI, into Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender XDR, which will provide the world-class real-time TI within the Unified Security Operations experience at no additional cost. This is big news as we are removing any licensing needs to access Microsoft Defender Threat Intelligence, and you will be able to get all the latest threat intelligence indicators and information inside of Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender XDR without needing to pay any extra cost. So first, we were speaking about onboarding Microsoft Sentinel workspace to Microsoft Defender XDR. And this can be done in the few steps. So we will start on the home page where we'll be able to select connect the workspace or go to settings that I will show later on in the demo. Then we'll be selecting the workspace that we want to connect. It will give us a review section to inform us about the changes that will be done once when we select the connect. And we will navigate back to connecting the workspace. And after we see the workspace connected, in a matter of 5 minutes, we will be getting the new view. We will be able to see Microsoft Sentinel inside of the Microsoft Defender portal, and will be access Microsoft Sentinel data from that specific workspace. And of course, we can connect multiple workspaces, and I will demonstrate that in the demo in a couple of minutes in more details. Really important, there are permission requirements to connect Microsoft Sentinel to Microsoft Defender XDR. Those permissions are either global admin or security admin from Entra ID, and you will also need Sentinel contributor and user access admin on that specific subscription resource or resource group, or we will need owner on the subscription to perform those changes. Just bear in mind if you need to perform any kind of requests for the permissions, those permissions are required. When you connect Microsoft Sentinel inside of Microsoft Defender portal, what we are getting is the unified incident queue. We will have one incident queue for all our security toolings. So we don't care anymore from where the incident is coming, where it is generated. It will be inside of the Microsoft Defender incident queue. We are getting also benefit of the correlation, and this correlation will actually help us to correlate the data from Microsoft Defender XDR, so our first-party detection sources, with any detection sources that we are having in Microsoft Sentinel SIEM as our third-party detection for the better incident quality. So instead of creating some algorithms on our own, some playbooks, etc., that will actually move incidents if we have some known elements, the correlation engine will do this for us, and will be able to correlate all the data between the primary workspace and the Microsoft Defender XDR. Of course, maybe we don't want to have all analytic rules in correlation, and we heard about that, and I'm really happy that I can be one of the first publicly to say about it, that we'll be introducing correlation exclusion for analytic rules. So you will be able, inside of the analytic rules, to disable specific correlation, and it will not be taken into consideration when correlation is happening. Please note also that we will be having webinar this Thursday, and you will probably get the link so that you can register for that. We will be covering what's new in the last 6 months for Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender XDR, and we'll be speaking about the correlation, and there will be even a demo of the correlation exclusion. So please register and be part of that webinar, as well as we will be covering what's new in the last 6 months, and there will be some cool demos as well. So I mentioned the correlation, and that is the benefit that we will be getting when we are joining Microsoft Sentinel, Microsoft Defender XDR inside of Microsoft Defender portal. And Microsoft Defender portal is the name that we are using to describe this new experience, this new unified portal where we can see all our security tooling. And the benefit of it is that we'll be having that smaller incident queue. We had a lot of singleton alerts inside of Microsoft Sentinel where analytic rule will be detecting specific detection, specific alert, and it will be only alert inside of incident. Then different analytic rule will be creating detection that has similarities with that previous one. But because in Sentinel we didn't have that correlation engine, we were having those singletons and we had to connect them by investigating multiple incidents. With moving to inside of the unified portal, we are now getting the option to correlate all the elements, and we'll be able to get all those analytic detections that are created by different analytic rules correlated inside of the same incident, and we can start creating all the start investigating all this data in the flow, and it will describe us the path how actually incident was escalating through the process. Of course, we will not be correlating everything every specific detection, but there must be some similarities between the detections so that we can correlate them. But that can be that it is a similar entity, that can be that it is following the attack chain, etc. And we'll be not correlating, of course, in each situation, because if the incident is closed, we will not be correlating with closed incident. Or if the incidents are assigned to different people, we will not be correlating alerts inside of those. Because SOC analysts already started investigating it. I already mentioned, and I will be doing a demo about Microsoft Threat Intelligence, where we actually unified the threat intelligence between Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Defender XDR, and now it is at one place inside the Microsoft Defender portal, where we can access the chat analytics, where we can access the threat intelligence indicators, and also the new elements that we were adding inside of the threat intelligence, like creating the relationships between the TIs, creating new objects, and so on. We also do unified hunting experiences, where we can have now all these Microsoft Defender XDR tables that we normally had to send inside of Microsoft Sentinel. We had to pay the ingestion cost to be able to see the data inside of Microsoft Sentinel from Microsoft Defender XDR. Today, after you onboard to a unified portal, if you don't need to access this data for more than 30 days, you don't need actually to ingest Microsoft Defender XDR data inside of Microsoft Sentinel, and you still can correlate Microsoft Defender XDR tables with Microsoft Sentinel tables. For example, device network events with syslog or security event table. So we can get that benefit. And if you need to store the data above 30 days, that's when you can send it to Microsoft Sentinel, to Microsoft Sentinel SIEM, or as Javier will be explaining later, we are start supporting sending specific tables inside of Microsoft Sentinel Data Lake as well. Depending what use cases you will need, you can decide where you will be sending your data. Everything inside of Advanced Hunting window, where we can access the data, query, we'll be able to see Microsoft Sentinel schemas, query Microsoft Sentinel tables without any kind of limitations. We also are adding a couple of new elements inside of Microsoft Defender portal, and one of them is the case management that is now built in for all the SOC teams that want to utilize the case management. They are able to go and create case management from the Defender portal and add any kind of either incidents or threat intelligence indicators inside of the cases for the further investigation. So we can actually group multiple incidents inside of one case, or multiple TI indicators that we want to investigate inside of the one case and to form the investigation. This is new element that we didn't have inside of Microsoft Sentinel before, and it is adding also support for specific scenarios that were widely asked inside of Microsoft Sentinel, like adding attachment to the incident. So now with cases, we are able to attach attachment to a specific case. I also mentioned supporting the multiple tenants and the workspaces utilizing the MTO portal, so Defender MTO portal, where we can connect and select multiple tenants and access the data across multiple tenants. As well, we can connect multiple workspaces to the single tenant and be able to access the data from different Microsoft Sentinel workspaces on the single tenant. Worth mentioning is that permissions will still continue to work as they are. So if you have permissions to see the data from the workspace A, but not from the workspace B, even though both of them are connected to the unified portal, we will not be able to see the data from the workspace B until we get Microsoft Sentinel permissions on the workspace B. So the permissions that you configure inside of the Azure portal will be respected inside of Microsoft Defender portal. The next one is the Microsoft Security Copilot agents, which is going into a story about our support with generative AI and expanding to generative AI, where we are able to build the agents and add them inside of the Microsoft Defender portal. One of those agents that is widely popular now is our phishing triage agent that is providing us option to go through hundreds of alerts per day and sniffing through them to actually triage all those emails submitted as the phish incidents, so helping our SOC analysts actually to focus on something else, and then coming back and only investigate if the phishing triage agent marked something as true positive, and resolve all those false positives that we are getting on the daily basis. So if you are having Security Copilot, I would urge to go and engage with the phishing triage agent. That will be hugely beneficial for you. And for all those customers that are having Microsoft 365 E5 subscriptions, we just announced on Ignite that there is a new method of getting Security Copilot that is included with E5 subscription. So for each 1,000 paid user licenses of E5, you are getting 400 security compute units for Microsoft Security Copilot. So if you already have some licenses of Microsoft E5, you are eligible for specific amount of Microsoft Security Copilot security compute units, SCUs. So please go investigate, speak with your account team, and enable Microsoft Security Copilot and start utilizing it in your day-to-day activities. And I will show, like now in the demo, some of the use cases that we were just speaking about. So first of all, we were speaking about connecting Microsoft Sentinel to Microsoft Defender XDR, and like we mentioned, you can do it from your home menu if you don't already connected even one. But if you have connected, you can go to the settings, Microsoft Sentinel, and under SIEM workspaces, we'll be able to see all the workspaces that we can connect on our environment. So I can select one that is not connected, and I can select between two different methods. Connect, this will connect as the secondary workspace, or connect and set as primary. There is distinguish between primary and secondary workspace. Primary workspace is the only workspace that we have Microsoft Defender XDR connector enabled for the incidents and alerts. So we will set the primary workspace, the one where we want that all incidents and alerts created by Microsoft Defender XDR will be ingested to, and all the detections from Microsoft Sentinel workspace will be correlated with that Microsoft Defender XDR. And that will happen only between primary workspace and Microsoft Defender XDR. Any secondary workspace will not have any correlation between Microsoft Sentinel primary workspace or any other secondary workspace, as well as Microsoft Defender XDR. So secondary workspace will have correlation only inside of its secondary workspace between alerts that are being generated inside of the secondary workspace. So this is really important, as we can have only one primary workspace, and we can ingest Microsoft Defender XDR incidents alerts only to that one instance of Microsoft Sentinel. This is not including raw data, so the device network events, device process events, etc. All this we can send to multiple workspaces as we can today. The primary is connected only to one incident alert. That's it. So once when we hit connect, it will start connecting our workspace, and in a matter of few minutes, we'll be able to see the data coming from that specific workspace inside of our environment. And of course, at any point, if we need to change the primary, we are able to set connected workspaces primary. We can disconnect environment. And also we can remove Microsoft Sentinel from the workspace, and we can access the settings now and see the settings of this specific Microsoft Sentinel workspace. Once when it is connected, we are able to see the data, but we are also able to filter the data across different workspaces. So if I go to Microsoft Sentinel and, for example, go to workbooks, I will be able to change the workspace that I'm looking the data from. So it will first load me from my primary workspace, but selecting here, I will be able to select any secondary workspace that I'm having data connected and see the data from it. The same will be from Content Hub. The same will be for example, the data connectors. So I will be able to select which workspace I'm looking at and see what kind of connectors is connected to that specific workspace. Okay. So this is how we are connecting and what we are seeing. The next what we'll be showing is the unified experience. So we mentioned that we are adding multiple elements inside of our environment, and now we are able to see the incidents, multi-stage incidents, that will have alerts that are connected across sources. So for example, if we look here, we'll have detections that are coming from Microsoft Sentinel as the detection source, but also from Microsoft inside the risk management. And here it is Microsoft Defender for Cloud, if I'm not mistaken. And we can expand, of course, and see exactly. So we can see, first of all, from where the data is coming. We also added information about correlation reason. So why we actually added this specific alert inside of this specific incident. And we can also access and see this correlation information here, as well as the descriptions and specific information about the specific alerts. Inside of the attack story, we are able to check with Copilot, where we can get information from the AI about this incident. It can give us the brief summary of the incident, so I can, without going through all the details, see what this incident is about. It will give me specific information about tasks that I maybe need to perform on this specific incident, but also the triaging. So do I want to classify this incident as false positive, true positive? Is it phishing? Is it some testing, not malicious, etc.? Do I want maybe to perform actions on specific user? That is, here it is U101. So I can disable the user. It will give me option to suspend the user, reset password, etc. So I can perform all these actions from this window, and it will give me even more information, like to resolving, like exporting incident as PDF that I can store for the future, and giving me much more options, of course, depending on the incident. So it can give me like option to contact the user with writing the whole email, Teams message that we can send to that specific user, and so on. But also we'll be able to expand the investigation from being reactive. So incident happened, we are investigating it, but this already happened. But using its exposure management, we are able to load the blast radius and see for this specific user where else this can go, where else this attack can continue to. So we can see that this specific user has access to specific storage accounts. We can see that it has access to specific Kubernetes services, etc. So we can actually plan where the lateral movement can happen and be proactive to actually stop the user, maybe block the user, maybe suspend user if it is really critical, if it is one or two elements, remove the user access to those specific elements so that the attacker cannot actually go further. We also can perform hunting directly on users, see all the activities, related alerts, but also see the user anomalies. So anomalies from the UAV, from Microsoft Sentinel, that will give us information about what happened. And here we can see anomalous privilege granted for this specific user, which immediately can give us red lights. So anomalous privilege incident granted. We have inside the risk management access to storage accounts, etc. So this can be really, really important for us for the investigation and to get better details about incidents and what's happening with the incident per se. We also mentioned the hunting, and we are able to perform the hunts over the data inside of and across. So Microsoft Defender, XDR, and Microsoft Sentinel. On our menu here, we can see Microsoft Defender XDR tables that we are used to, but if we keep scrolling below, we are able to see all Microsoft Sentinel tables now as well. And we can perform all the actions of querying this data. So if I will search here and say AAD non-interactive signing logs, take 5, just to speed it up, it will actually go and perform the action and give me the data. If we have multiple workspaces connected and we want to change the workspace, we can change the workspace from the menu here. But also, we can join the data between Microsoft Defender XDR table and Microsoft Sentinel table without need to ingest this identity log1 events inside of Microsoft Sentinel at all for those 30 days. So we can run a query and it will give us the results and join the data between those results. Out of it, we can also create the detection rule. So if I select here, create a detection rule, it will guide me through the process of creating the detection rule. So I can go and create custom detection with all the data. And when we are looking between Microsoft Defender XDR that is not being ingested inside of the Microsoft Sentinel and Microsoft Sentinel data, we can only create it in the custom detection. But if we are creating it inside of Microsoft Sentinel only data, and we don't want to use custom detections because there are a couple of elements still that are missing for us, we still can switch back and create analytic rule instead. But and this is something that you will see also on the demo on Thursday, we added a lot of elements of analytic rules inside of the custom detections to support all the data, and also custom detections are supporting Sentinel only as well, so we can create from the Sentinel perspective, so Sentinel only tables. The rest of Microsoft Sentinel we can find under Microsoft Sentinel menu, and we can see here the configuration aspect. So if we need to access any table management, the data connectors, we need to go and perform any kind of automations. It will load us all the automations as well, and we are able to see all our automation rules. We can see active playbooks, and we can go and run any of these playbooks, of course, on the incident. but also we can edit any of them. For editing of it, because the playbooks are still logic apps in the backend, it will guide you to the Azure portal, but all the elements will be synced back to the new unified portal. Content Hub is available as well, of course, and we are able to search all the data. But like I mentioned, there are a couple of elements that are new, like cases. So if I scroll down to the cases, I'm able to see the case management solution, where I have specific filters. So I can filter only for specific elements. Here I searched only what is assigned to me. And then like I can open any case to start investigating the case. So I will see the elements of the case, like for example, the description of the case, details, the audit logs of this specific case. If we have any kind of tasks that are assigned to this specific case, and then we can have, like I mentioned, the attachments. So I can upload the attachment and add attachments to our view, but also I can see the linked objects, or I can link the incidents directly from here. If I have created just case and I need to add, I can just select any kind of incidents that I want to link and edit inside of it, as well as the TI indicators. So I can go and from the specific workspace, select specific indicators and attach it to this specific case for our investigation. So if we have, for example, incidents that is connected to a specific threat group, and we know the specific indicators that are connected to it as well, we can easily add and link these specific indicators to this investigation. So when we ever come back to this case, we'll be able to see those incidents and the indicators that are connected to that specific threat group that we are building the case against to protect the environment. I also mentioned convergence of the threat intelligence inside of Microsoft Defender portal. So if we go to the threat intelligence, we will be able to see what we are used to with threat analytics and access the data about threat analytics, integration of security Copilot inside of it. And we are already starting to enrich this specific data with more information from Microsoft Defender threat intelligence, so that we can get a little bit more information inside of it, like connected indicators, recommended actions, etc. So if we have any kind of this data, we'll be showing it. Intel management is the new place for threat intelligence indicators view from Microsoft Sentinel. So you are able to see any kind of indicators that we have. We can select any kind of attack patterns and create any attack patterns. We can build the identifiers as well the threat actors. So for example, if we have a Sangria Tempest, I can actually go create this. And what is great is that I can connect and create relationship between the indicators and threat actors and immediately see what kind of IPs are connected to specific relationship. So like if you have Sangria Tempest, that's a threat actor, I can add all the indicators that are connected to Sangria Tempest and see the relationship between them. Of course, all this data is also available inside of the KQL, so we can build the KQL on top of it and access all the data utilizing the KQL itself. We integrated the security Copilot and the agents that are available through the security Copilot. So now we can get access to all the new agents that we are adding inside of Microsoft Defender portal. For example, the phishing triage agent or threat intelligence briefing agents that are both available for you. You don't need to navigate anywhere else to Security Copilot console or anything to access it, but by easily clicking go to, I can go and access. I'll go to phishing agent and I need permissions. Great. But we can get access to and see any kind of data that is connected to the phishing triage agent, interact with it as well the threat intelligence briefing agent. So this is the overview of what's new with Microsoft Defender XDR and Microsoft Sentinel inside of the Microsoft Defender portal. What we bring, what we try to correlate inside of it, and all the new elements that we are adding on top of it, like security exposure management, security Copilot, agents on top of it. And now I will give hand to Javier, so that he can present even the more information and more integrations that you are getting on top of what I just covered with the Microsoft Sentinel platform. Javier.
Perfect. Thank you, Benji. Thank you so much. And hello, everyone. Let me take over the screen. Perfect. So I wanted to just show you a couple of slides, and then I'm going to go into a bit of a demo of what we have been releasing in the last few months, right? So Benji showed you at the beginning the slide of the journey that we have been having in Sentinel since the inception in 2019 as the first cloud-native SIEM, and how it has evolved over the years. On September 30th, we announced the next step of the Sentinel evolution, which is the Microsoft Sentinel platform. Let's take a look at what that means. So this is the architecture of the Sentinel platform. As you can see at the top, you have the Microsoft Sentinel SIEM that you all know and love, right? So we have our SIEM storage, which is our Sentinel workspace, and we have all the different components that we know make up a SIEM, right? Detections in real time, SOAR capabilities, threat intelligence, hunting, case management, our marketplace, and so on and so forth. So what we have added with this announcement of the Sentinel platform are the different layers at the bottom. First of all, we have the data lake at the very bottom, right? It's a very cost-efficient tier for ingestion of your telemetry or your security telemetry. Important thing to mention, the same connectors that you use today to send your data into your Sentinel workspace and the analytics tier, they are completely the same. They don't change at all to send the data into the data lake, whether it's Azure Monitor Agent, whether it's your codeless connectors, whether it's just the log ingestion API, all of those are completely applicable to ingesting data in the data lake at a much lower cost, of course. So on top of that data lake tier, we have several things on top, right? So first of all, the different modalities in which you can access the data. So it's not just KQL to use your regular tabular format to understand the data, but also we have graph capability, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a bit during the demo. So we can query the data in a graph modalities to be able to find the connections between different entities in my environment. And also we have the ability to query the data as vector embeddings to be able to connect our AI workloads to the wealth of data that we store in the data lake. And then you see above that, the Sentinel MCP server. This is quite unique in the industry. So we have an embedded Sentinel MCP server within the Sentinel platform that allows customers to perform several different things with the data. First of all, semantic search. So being able to perform semantic search over all the data that you have in the data lake. Do query analysis. So the MCP server is going to be able to generate queries to understand what's going on with your data. And not only that, but you also have custom tools. So customers can define their own tools in the Defender portal, in the data lake, that will specifically target to their needs, right? We have a bunch of other tools. I might be able to show some of those in the demo. Like, for example, we have now graph capabilities as part of the MCP server that we announced at Ignite, and several other capabilities as part of this. I didn't mention one part over here, and I did it on purpose. So here we have what we call the stores or the catalogs. We have the asset store, the activity store, the threat intelligence store. So these are basically snapshots that take all the different entities and activities and connections in my environment and allow me to build that graph that we were mentioning, right? So, for example, it will take a snapshot of all my Entra ID users, all my Entra ID service principals, all my Entra ID group memberships, and so on. And also for things like the Azure resources, look, it will take Azure resources, Azure subscriptions, Azure resource groups, and all of that. And also it will do the same with Microsoft 365, right? So any resources that I have on mailboxes, on SharePoint sites, and so on, it will be able to extract all that and make it available as part of the asset store, which is really what powers the graph capability that we mentioned. One thing that I didn't mention is the ability to have also Spark notebooks on top of the data lake. So the data that is stored in the data lake is in Delta Parquet format, so an open format that we can use to execute notebooks on top of it. All right, let's move to the next slide, which explains a bit what are the different data flows that you have. Once you enable the data lake, what happens with my data, right? How does it travel across the different tiers? So first of all, this is the default behavior, right? You have your data sources and you're sending them into the analytics tier, where you have all the different capabilities that you know and love, like detections, hunting queries, workbooks, and so on and so forth. The moment that you onboard your Sentinel workspace into the data lake, there's going to be an automatic mirroring of the data into the data lake. So the data that you ingest into analytics is going to be automatically mirrored to the data lake at no additional cost. Okay, so we're going to make a copy of that data, so it's available for you in the data lake. Not only I can get the data into the data lake in that way via the mirroring, but also I can do it via direct ingestion. So there might be some specific data types that I know are very verbose, very high volume, and they have some security value, but not as much to be able to put them into analytics tier, right? So those I can send them directly into the data lake. And then there's a series, different set of capabilities or experiences that allow me to interact with the data that is in the data lake. First of all, what we call KQL jobs. So KQL jobs are a way to query the data when I have to look for a specific IOC, for example. I need to build trends, I need to detect anomalies, and so on. And the results of that KQL job will be stored or rehydrated to an analytics table. Okay, so the output of the KQL job is an analytic table that allow me to see the results of that query. Important to mention, KQL jobs support full KQL. So you can do as many jobs as you want. You can do summarizations. You can do 12 years of look back. So there's no limit in terms of look back. So again, very powerful tool. Typical uses that we see customers doing, I ingest all my firewall data, for example, in the data lake, and then I run a KQL job that is doing IOC, indicator for compromise matching against that specific data for the firewall, right? Just to leave you that example. I can also interactively query the data in the data lake. We have one thing called the Lake Explorer that allows you to query the data, again, with full KQL that is in the data lake. And also we have the MCP server that I just mentioned a few minutes ago that allows me to query the data in a kind of interactive way. And lastly, we have Spark jobs, right? We can run notebooks for those typical batch, heavy queries or machine learning scenarios. And as part of the data lake, we bring a data lake compute. This is a compute that is managed and offered by Microsoft. We have different SKUs, small, medium, large, that you can play with for those scenarios as well. Okay. With that, let's go into a demo. So I'm going to start from the Defender portal. So first of all, important to mention that the data lake experiences that I just mentioned, the data lake part, the graph part, and the MCP server, they are all accessible through the Defender portal. It's quite easy to do it. I'm going to just explain it very, very fast. You go to settings, you go to your Microsoft Sentinel menu item, and then you have your Sentinel workspaces right there, right? Your SIEM workspaces. This will list all the workspaces that I have connected. Of course, I need to have one workspace at least connected. And then what will happen is that we will enable the data lake for the region of the primary workspace, right? So in this case, West East US. So in this case, as you can see, I have 3 different workspaces, this one, and this one, 3 workspaces that are in the same region. So the data lake will be enabled for all those 3, okay? To do the onboarding, you just go here to data lake. In my case, I already have it enabled, so I will not see here much, just that my data lake is ready to use. But here you get the option to select a specific resource group and a subscription where you place the data lake resource. Once you have done that, there's several experiences that light up. First of all, we have this tables experience. You will see that in this tables experience, I will be able to modify the retention and the ingestion tier of all the different tables that I have in my Sentinel environment. Not only data lake, but also any analytics tables that I might have over there, right? So for example, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna specifically search for a table. Let's go and search for DNS table. And I have one table that is called DNS events, right? And I can, as you can see, I can manage that table. Right now, that table is being sent into the analytics tier, 30 days retention in that tier. Normally, I would put here 90 because, as you know, 90 days are included for free when you ingest into analytics tier. And then maybe here a total of 1 year, right, of retention. Important to mention, the difference between these two, in this case, 9 months, right, between 3 months and a year, those 9 months are going to be stored in the data lake only, right? That's why we define here the analytics retention and the total retention. The total retention, it will be in the data lake. But as I was saying, I can say, hey, this data type specifically, DNS events, I don't see any value of keeping it in analytics, and I want to send to the low-cost ingestion tier. I can just click on data lake tier, set the retention for that data type, and then just click save. What this is going to do is going to change the ingestion tier of that table. As you can see, it's already done. Now this table is in the data lake. I didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to change the parsing. I didn't have to change my data connectors. I didn't have to do any other configuration change than just this specific one, right? One more thing that I wanted to show you about this is that we recently added support in this table management area for Defender for Endpoint tables. So I can send Defender for Endpoint tables now directly into data lake, right? So as you know, in the Defender XDR side of things, we include 30 days of retention of your device event tables, for example, right? Device events. Now I can extend the retention of that table beyond 30 days directly into the data lake, right? That is going to provide me with an option to extend the retention at a very low cost, right? Without having to incur into that analytics ingestion cost. As I said, we added this for MDE, for Defender for Endpoint recently. We're going to be adding it for the rest of the tables pretty soon. Okay. One more thing that I wanted to show you, it's this new menu item that I see here, Data Lake Exploration. Here we have my KQL queries. This allows me to query the data lake. So I will be able to see what data is there. I can see, for example, the schema of the different tables. I see my Sentinel tables over here that are being ingested. And I'm just going to query, for example, sign-in logs, summarize count by application display name, for example, right? And I'm going to run it for the last 24 hours. So that's, as you see, I can use summarize commands. I can use joins if I want to, no KQL restrictions. And then I have my results, as you can see over there, for me to analyze if I want to. Let's imagine that I have a specific query that I know is going to run for a long time, or that I want to schedule, that I want to make it recurrent. Then in those cases, I create a job, right? I have that button over there in the portal where I can say, hey, this is a job that I want to run. As I said before, the KQL jobs always store the results in a table that is in the analytics tier. So I have to specify what workspace do I want that table in. I'm going to have to define, obviously, the query itself. What do I want to query? What is the scope, the time frame, and so on. And then, as I said, you can set the schedule, right? I can say, hey, this is a one-time kind of execution, right, that I execute once, or do I want to execute at a schedule, right? And in this case, as you can see, I can select from monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, but I can also select by the minute. And the frequency can be as fast as every 5 minutes, right? I can use also 5, 10, 15, and so on and so forth. And then I will just see the summary and then execute my job. Once I have executed that job, I will be able to see the list of all the different jobs that I have in this interface. Well, you will see which ones are executed, which ones have succeeded, which ones are in progress, and so on. I can see also the history of the different job executions for a specific job, and so on and so forth. So an ability to also monitor those different things. I wanted to show you a couple more things. One is the ability to hunt over graph, right? So I mentioned that with the Sentinel platform, we also have the capability of querying the data in a graph modality. So I'm going to do just that, right? So I'm here in my advanced hunting environment. Now I have a new option to do hunting, which is via graph, right? And I'm going to specifically select one scenario, which is, hey, give me the path between two entities. I'm going to select a specific virtual machine that I know it's over here. There it is, my virtual machine. And I'm going to select a storage account. I think I have one that is called like this, storage account. There it is. And now I can select what do I want to see as part of the graph, right? I'm going to say that I want to see only the shortest paths. And then I can say what kind of relationships do I want to show. As you can see, we have a wealth of relationships that we represent in the graph, like has credentials, can authenticate to, is running, runs on, contains, member of, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to run this query as it is, and it will provide me that representation of the entities, the VM and the storage account, and what are the different connection points between the two, right? This gives me a lot of power into seeing how different components in my organization are connected between them, right? I can see that there's a managed identity. This, I think, is a managed identity. There it is, managed identity that is in the virtual machine, right? I can see that this is a subscription, if I'm not mistaken. This is a subscription, the Azure subscription. And then I see here my resource group, right? So this is the resource group where the storage account is contained, right? And I'm able to not only see that, but hey, what happens if the user accesses this storage account? What else do I have connection with, right? And I can expand that graph to go even further and show me additional components in this organization, right? In this environment, how other things are connected. This is, I think, a container, managed identities, and so on and so forth, right? More storage accounts, and other components there. And as you saw, I didn't mention this, but it's important to mention, we also have the edges, right? The relationships between them. In this case, the VM can authenticate as this managed identity. I have also that this managed identity has role or permissions on the subscription, right? I can see also that this storage, the resource group, contains an additional storage account, which is this other one, right? So again, all those relationships, all those edges, I also have them represented here. I have here this runs on, this has role on, and so on. Okay. I wanted to just close with another experience, which is the MCP server. So the MCP server is amazing, the things that I can do. So for example, in this case, I was just asking the MCP server what is a specific user blast radius, right? And it was able to run that MCP query, right? It's actually taking a specific table to run on, and then it's saying that Kendall Rogers has a blast radius of 32 keyballs, right? It's able to access all these different keyballs, and then I can have a conversation with the agent saying, hey, if I want to minimize the blast radius for this user, what are the most common walkable paths for these keyballs, right? And I'm able to, the MCP server is going to run all those different queries, and it's going to find the specific strategies that I can use to minimize that, right? Like apply principle of less privilege, implement conditional access policies, enable PIM, more segregation, and so on and so forth. So that's it for me in terms of the demo. Wanted to close just with the last few thoughts and call to actions. So first of all, get started with Microsoft Sentinel. I think many of you are already doing it. Second of all, onboard or connect your Sentinel workspace into the Defender portal, as we have been explaining. And then, of course, enable the data lake as well to be able to benefit from all this goodness that I just explained a few minutes ago. With that, thank you, everyone.